Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Dr. Haslinda and all of my colleagues. Very good morning to all of you. So, thank you to Dr. Haslinda for giving me this opportunity to present myself, even in the video, because perhaps now when you are seeing my face here, I'm still in Saudi Arabia performing Umrah, and inshallah, today our group will present regarding the, 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 the concept of delegated legislation. What it means by delegated legislation. So I will begin first. As far as we're concerned, legislation is the law enacted by the legislature and by any bodies or persons authorized by the legislature. So, the legislation enacted by the legislature, which is the parliament, is referred to as primary legislation. Meanwhile, any legislation that made under power delegated by the legislature is called delegated or subsidiary or subordinate legislation, which is our topic today. So, the legislature, which is the parliament, usually or generally occupies the superior place among all three organs of our government, which is executive and judiciary. Because the function of executive and judiciary are based on the laws that are passed by the legislature. So the law must be executed first before a judgment can be given or the executive can take any action. In Malaysia, the power to enact law is vested in Parliament at the federal state, as well as vested in state legislative assembly at the state level. So, as Malaysia has a written constitution, which is namely federal constitution, Parliament and the state legislative assembly are not supreme anymore. They can enact law only within the limits and in the manner prescribed by the federal constitution. So, most of the legislation enacted each year actually is not made by Parliament directly. It is made by other people or bodies under powers delegated to them by Parliament. Usually, we refer that kind of legislation that is made outside of the Parliament as regulations, as rules, and so on. So, in this context, the term delegated legislation is used to describe all types of legislation made under powers delegated by Parliament. Under Malaysian Interpretation Act 1948 and 1967, there are terms subsidiary legislation in that Interpretation Act, which means any proclamation, rule, regulation, order, notification, bylaw, or other instrument made under any act, enactment, ordinance, or other lawful authority and having legislative effect will be named as a subsidiary legislation, which is our topic today, delegated legislation. So, in contrast to the enactment of legislation by Parliament, there are no general procedures for ensuring that delegated legislation is subjected to public debate and scrutiny before it is made. So, it actually comes into argument whether the delegated legislation is safe enough, is good enough in order to make law, because it is not subject to debate, it is not subject to scrutiny, it is made by other people other than what has been elected by the citizens, by the people. So, our friends, my colleagues will present more about how delegated legislation is being carried out in our country today. Please witness their presentation. Thank you.